the Prophet's biography, and contemporary age. The need to know the facts of the Prophet's life and understand the values he promoted is particularly great in this age, in which a contemporary man exposed to materialism and other destructive ideologies has constantly been losing more than ever the core quality that makes him a human being, his humanity, that is, fine and humane behavior, called insaniya in Islamic sources. And when a man loses humanity, that is extremely dangerous, not only for mankind, but for all the other creatures on planet Earth as well. We witness a general commotion and corruption, what the Quran calls fasad, on the land, and see alike, which is a direct consequence of the failure to follow the path that Muhammad, the last messenger of God, called to. According to the Quran, Muhammad, peace be upon him, is a mercy sent to all people, so it is important to familiarize oneself with his life to attain that mercy. The problems of modern man have been treated in a multitude of books and studies written around the world, one such another. Dr. Javid Jamil wrote about it in a very convincing and inspiring manner in his article, Muhammad, the best product of the creation, from which we will quote some experts. The whole article is available online. We are living in a world where, thanks to the designs of merchants, immorality reigns, where it is easier to be bad than good, where wearing a scarf is banned and baring the body is promoted, where being a wife or husband is outdated and being a bad partner is smartness, where piety is ridiculed and impudence glorified. We are living in a world where children are aborted in the name of women's rights, where murderers and rapists are protected in the name of right to life, where criminals are given all amenities of life in the name of human rights, where sexual perverts receive all kinds of sympathy and attention, where those talking of righteousness in life are condemned as bloody moralists, where the media do everything to change the choices of the people. But if some reformer tries to warn them against evils, he is dubbed as retrogressive, who has no business to teach lessons of good behavior to the people. Alcohol, smoking, gambling, and unrestrained sex are considered to be the biggest symbols of liberty. Brothels, beaches, bars, and casinos, the citadels of freedom. 1/3 of the total population of the world smokes. Millions of people take drugs. Millions drink and gamble, and sizable percentage indulges in all forms of unhealthy sexual behavior, including promiscuity, homosexuality, purchased sex. In short, we are inhabitants of a world where the biggest virtue is to openly indulge in the biggest sin, and the biggest sin is to try to exhibit virtuousness. The globe of the New World Order is therefore rapidly developing into nothing but a fireball of a chaos. It is hardly surprising than that more than 240 million people lost lives in wars in the last century. More than 2 million people commit suicide. More than 5 million people die of sex-related diseases. More than 100 million suffer from sexually transmitted diseases. 42 million from HIV/AIDS. More than 100 million suffer from alcohol-related illnesses. More than 5 million die of smoking-related problems. More than 2,000 million people smoke. Hundreds of millions indulge in gambling. 500 million are now using internet alone for gambling. In the United States alone, 20 million people show some signs of gambling addiction, and 2 million divorces had gambling as a significant factor. Tens of millions of women are in prostitution and other sex-related business. More than 1 million Americans alone have served as prostitutes. More than 1.2 million children are exploited annually in prostitution and other sex trades. More than 800 million watch pornography. Millions of homes are broken every year. Millions of women are raped every year. The total number of women who have been raped at least once is in hundreds of millions. Sexual abuse of children is on the rise all over the world. In many Western countries, up to 1/3 of all people have been sexually abused in their childhood. Drug addiction is also persistent. Tens of millions of people are addicted to harmful drugs. Civil wars, wars and riots for various reasons are also not showing any remarkable decline, consuming thousands of lives every year. Economic disparity between different countries and people of the world and among the people of the same countries is continuously growing. Poverty may be on the decline, but relative poverty is showing steep rise. The author then stresses that it is in this very backdrop that Islam, in the form established by Prophet Muhammad, has to play its role, since the whole social, legal, economic, administrative, scientific, health, and educational setup all over the world is founded on un-Islamic premises. He also notes that everything that the Quran explicitly prohibits nowadays destroys the social fabric everywhere, while international organizations, including the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization, and Amnesty International, have been dancing to the melody of globalization, trampling in the process individuals' physical, mental, and spiritual health, family peace, and social order. Dr. Jamil finishes his article with a message that it is necessary to find a new world order and establish the natural world order in accordance with the principles laid down by the Book of God and implemented in the life of the Prophet. The uniqueness of Muhammad's mission was its totally comprehensiveness and perfection. In order to change the world in accordance with Islam and the prophetic mission, it is necessary to find the best methods to apply its message in the modern world. Muhammad's revolution was not an ordinary revolution. It was an ideological, intellectual, social, economic, political, moral, and spiritual revolution molded into one single system based on the unity of mankind and the faith in the one and only God. From the human point of view, Muhammad was a genius unparalleled in the history of mankind. Nevertheless, he was more than that. He was the chosen one, chosen not by human beings, but by the exalted Creator. He was the final destination in the evolution of conscious beings. Therefore, the earlier the inhabitants of the globe recognize him as the sole role model, the better it will be for them individually as well as collectively, concludes Dr. Jamil.